Hi, happy Thanksgiving. I'm Rosemary Cummings. Instead of my picture, I thought it only appropriate to put in Thanksgiving pictures. My core question is, upon what foundation are U.S. public schools built? If we were to look at this question on a physical structural basis, we would find a lot of similarities in the buildings which were built at similar times. I have included 3 pictures of 3 different high schools in the Clark County, Nevada school district. They all have some great similarities in their structures and their classrooms. Many schools in the United States have used the same types of concrete, steel, safety glass, and wood products for their construction materials. However, just as a dress does not make the person, nor does the structure determine whether or not a school is functioning as an educational facility. Are all schools in the same district educationally equal? This past week's readings have established that the educational foundations of the schools in the United States of America are built upon the foundation of providing education for the youth of this nation. Yet, are all the schools in the United States, the same state, the same district, or even the same city equal? The answer has been a resounding no from both my classmates and myself. I would like to share what Nellie Lowry said. No, I do not think that all of the schools in a district are educationally equal. I grew up in North Idaho. There were only 2 high schools in my district, and the one in the city got new books, new lockers, pretty much knew everything. They had great AP and honor classes. The school I went to was in the country. On the other hand, we got the other school's hand-me-downs, and we didn't have any honor or AP classes. We did have a few DC classes in the later years that I went there. I do not think that all school districts are like that, but I know that some are. Nellie went on to share a website that talks about the progress and school requirements and comparing how some schools are and how they're made up. How do schools differ? Some of the differences are based on money. Some are based on the number of students registered for and attending a certain school district, or even a school within that district. The allocated tax dollars may be lessened just because of how many students are attending on a certain day. Another way that money plays a part is the PTA or other parent-teacher groups. The groups can be the fundraiser for each individual school and determine whether the school has a 10-year-old copy machine or a much newer and better working model. If parents cannot afford to donate monies to their child's school, then the extras cannot be purchased. School district budgets the amount of monies for each expenditure, and then the schools are limited by those budgets. At the present time, my granddaughters attend an elementary school where a corporation has donated an iPad for each student to use while in the classroom. This donation has enabled this school to spend monies otherwise allocated for textbook and other educational supplies to use on things that make schooling more enjoyable for the kids. There is better playground equipment, there are more science experiments. Yet in the same district in the neighboring city, an older elementary school has a difficult time even providing the basic library supplies because of the economic conditions of the students and their parents. My partner shared this information regarding her schooling experience. I know that not all schools used to be equal, especially when racism was being addressed nationwide. I think that some schools offered more courses than others. In my high school, we had a great art education program, but in others, they had more advanced programs with AP classes. It seems to depend on the state and the people who send their kids to school. In some of the charter schools, the schools are dependent on funds given by the parents, and I feel that this can limit or expand the amount of classes they offer. Another factor on how schools are different is sometimes good teachers are available and sometimes they're not. Sometimes there are teachers who hate their jobs or who hate working with children. I think that there are many factors that contribute, but I think the main one is how thorough and decent the teachers are and how the teachers communicate and work with each other to teach the students. Another student pointed out that all schools seem to have strengths and weaknesses. This makes sense. The school administration is done by humans who have strengths and weaknesses. So while the foundations of our public schools were premised on providing educational opportunities for the youth of this country, the reality is that all schools are not educationally equal. Programs such as No Child Left Behind and Common Core will not balance that inequality because they are programs ran by humans. No two teachers will present the same information exactly the same, and no student will process the same information in exactly the same manner. Just as the foundations of many school buildings may use the same materials, teachers may teach the same lesson, and yet the educational outcome may not be equal because each person, student or teacher, has a different background. Our country is supposed to be united, but our schools, even in the same school districts, are not united. Just like our country, our schools are and will continue to be a work in process and progress.